Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko, in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry, every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Mondays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Trauma and Bereavement. Also, every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Low and You. Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Dealing with Disabilities. And every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., the all-night prayer live on the street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with the day's issues from a biblical perspective, and you'll also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showed you, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of you, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Your financial support at Kilo First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795-222. For further information, call 753-1113 or 610-4673.
June 1st, consciousness takes over. Redemption.
The 9th edition.
Queen's Park, Savannah, Port of Spain. We bring to you Super Cat.
Sizzler Kalanji.
Steel Pulse.
Christopher Martin.
Buds, Mr. K, and John Melody.
It's a blessing to see people.
June 1st, get your limited $350 general,
$850 VIP,
and $1,250 VVIP tickets now at islandetickets.com.
Cuties One Woodward Place, Piarco and Heartland Plaza in Chaguanas.
Java Nation, Port of Spain, and Food Hall, Piarco Plaza.
Clubhouse on Arapita Avenue.
In Excess, Arima, and Port of Spain.
Extra Foods, Grand Bazaar, Sangre Grande, and Arima.
Then for men, C3 Center, San Fernando.
And Johnny Q Superstore in Tobago.
Call 780-SHOW for exclusive Cabana bookings. Sponsored by Angostura White Oak Rum,
B-Mobile,
Forest Park Punch and Rum,
Coca-Cola,
Corias Hard Wine,
Stag,
Simon's Musical Supplies,
Rude Boy,
Dasani Water,
Sunshine Snacks,
Java Nation,
American Stores,
and Johnny Q Sound Company.
This is Bishop Aaron Williams from the Divine Problem Solving International Ministries, inviting you to be part of our broadcast on any given Thursday night from 12 midnight right on to 5 a.m. on Friday morning. And this broadcast is called Early Morning Gospel Market Program. Then we have on Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. the Holy Ghost Gospel Pharmacy. If you are sick and ailing, you could get from this particular pharmacy, from the pharmacist, the good things of life. Hallelujah. And any Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, break into the host of the Philistines. Hallelujah. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, hearing the babel of false doctrines that you encounter daily, it's about time you get close to God. God's word direct from his throne room in the name of Jesus.
God has good plans for his people. Why do you worry so much?
You want to find something great to do with your Tuesday nights? You want to learn and understand the true reason for Jesus? Then join us every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. for the program, This Same Jesus, the program that puts Jesus in his rightful place in our hearts and in our homes. Let's bring church home to you. Join us every Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. with your hosts, Kempes and Kevin. Be inspired, be blessed right here on the street 91.9 FM.
Falling in love with Jesus.
Share the launch. The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
The Foundation for Healing Conversations is a Christian faith community transforming lives through healing conversations. The foundation is currently engaged in transforming the community of Embarcadero in San Fernando. We are working with young men 17 years and over, equipping them with entrepreneurial skills, agriculture, spiritual and attitudinal mindset shifts. To partner with us and experience community transformation at its finest, visit our Facebook page, the Foundation for Healing Conversations, or call us on 398-5013 and become a member of the Foundation for Healing Conversations. I am Dr. Madonna, and I approve this message.
Saddle up, ECDB, run to the troops. Right about now, Rasta, you teach I the truth. Yo, when we say love, when we say love, when we say love, we mean unconditional love. When we say love, when we say love, when we say love.
You know I love this song. It is a good day. It is a good day to be alive, and it is a good day to be alive in Trinidad and Tobago. This is Words Matter. I am Dr. Madonna. How are you, Pastor Google?
I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed.
And how was your weekend?
Very interesting as always.
You like that too. It's quite safe. And viewers, listeners, callers, you're in for a treat today. I am honoring my promise to you and those of you on YouTube also. Let's welcome our social media guests.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we are ready. Dr. Mirage, is Dr. Mirage, right?
Yes. I'm telling you, I am honoring my promise to you. Remember, some time ago, you all asked me to deal with narcissistic personality disorder. I have a handsome doctor in the house. Well, he's maybe at his office or at home. He's Dr. Shivan Maharaj. And he is a psychiatrist resident. And he's going to be walking us through today's program. Dr. Maharaj, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you guys?
Very good. This is the first time I'm seeing you sort of in person, and you look like a movie star, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So great. And thank you for agreeing to be with us and to walk us through an issue that people are quite concerned about. Perhaps there is is narcissistic personality disorder type of mental illness?
So yes, it is. Mental illness is, it comprises of a lot of different diagnoses and different classifications. But narcissistic personality disorder falls under the category of personality disorders, which are in fact recognized by our classifications and so on. So yes, it is considered a mental illness.
Yes. And viewers and listeners and callers, you're in very good hands. You know, Dr. Maharaj, he's resident. He is a psychiatry resident at the St. Anne's Psychiatric Hospital. He has been working there for the past 5 years. He completed his formal training as a doctor at UWE Cayfield campus, and along with his wife, and she's also a psychiatry resident. Wow, you talk about doctors in the house. Dr. Maharaj has a special interest in advocating for mental health here in Trinidad and Tobago, and he really, really desires to see more persons achieve their best quality of life, and he strongly believes that our mental health is our wealth. Dr. Maharaj, are you seeing an increase in mental health issues in Trinidad and Tobago?
So yes, we see a lot of various mental health issues, yes. I think as time has gone by, we're trying really hard to get the stigma to be less locally and within the Caribbean region as well, so that people would feel more capable or feel more comfortable coming to a mental health professional and getting the necessary assistance. So yes, we're seeing more as we try to make it more welcoming.
Yeah, because I'm thinking there's so much stress in the society and in the workplace, and my passion really is about how do we bring joy to the workplace, and our focus is on communication. That's why our program is called Words Matter. So we take a deep dive into the power of words to bring about healing in relationships, healing in how people see themselves, healing in that whole self-esteem and so on. So communication is so transformative at the individual, at the relational, at the organizational, community, and national levels. So we take a deep dive into the power of communication, and particularly the power of words to transform. So my question has to do with how do we begin to define narcissistic personality disorder? And then we'll look at its prevalence.
So basically, narcissistic personality disorder, we could first probably define what a personality disorder is. We have about 10 of them that we recognize, and each one could be described as an enduring pattern of inner experience and behavior that deviates markedly from the norms and expectations of someone's culture, and it's considered quite inflexible. It usually has an onset in adolescence or early adulthood, and people tend to be able to function. They're considered stable over time, but sometimes it could lead to distress or impairment. Now, narcissistic personality disorder has three main things we look for: a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. Grandiosity could be described simply as an exaggerated form of entitlement and self-importance that people tend to just automatically think should be there for them or wait for them wherever they go and however they do whatever they do in any context. And the persons who have these kinds of issues tend to behave like this in a variety of contexts, not only in the workplace or at home, which is why you could have a lot of communication issues because it happens once you're interacting with someone. It could be obvious, but we do have to look at the hallmark signs and the general presentation of someone like this. So our criteria, we have about 9 different things we look for. And out of the 9 things, you need 5 out of them to be happening more often than not for a significant portion of time in order for it to be considered a narcissistic personality disorder. Or just to make it a bit more simple for the talk show, we could call it NPD. Just
Dr. Maharaj, you said there are 9 behaviors, I guess, or tendencies.
Yes.
And if the majority of that persists over time, then it could be classified. Can you quickly identify those 9 behaviors or patterns?
Oh. So yes. So the first one is in the definition, which is a grandiose sense of self-importance. The second one is a preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or love. The third is a belief that he or she is special and unique and could only be understood by or should associate with others similar to themselves, high status, so to speak. The fourth criteria is a requirement constantly for excessive admiration. They also have a sense of entitlement, which is especially which they expect to be automatic and always treated favorably. They also, the 6th criteria would be interpersonally exploitative, meaning that they tend to take advantage of others, even if it impacts negatively on others, and whether or not they're conscious of it. The 7th criteria is that they lack empathy in others. Criteria 8 is being envious of others and believing that others are envious of them. And the last criteria that we look for is a huff and puff attitude and behavior, where they're very arrogant and haughty on a regular basis, and they come across with a behavior where they expect that way of existing should just be accepted as the norm.
Dr. Maharaj, that is a mouthful. And I could see the wheels turning in people's head and saying, I know somebody like that. I know somebody like that. My word. And you said, if 5 out of 9 behaviors persist over a period of time, then they can be categorized, can be labeled as suffering or being affected by narcissistic personality disorder. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I know. Let me just tell, I'm just repeating the numbers, and there's so many questions to ask you. If you want to really participate in today's conversation with Dr. Shivan Maharaj about narcissistic personality disorder, you need to call us at 342-0081 or 466-5391. That's 342-0081, 466-5391. Dr. Maharaj, I suspect you will be studying the personalities and behaviors of quite a number of people in office. Whether it is political office, they're in finance, they're in the priesthood, in the clergy, in entertainment, and so on. You have a good time analyzing those behaviors, not so?
Yes, you could, when you're in the field, you tend to be able to gently observe anyone that you come across. Of course, that's not the aim, but you do pick things up. Some of the things, though, that we need to make aware of in general is that it's not a bad idea for persons in general, regardless of who you are, to have an idea as to what these disorders entail. Because if you could observe it, you could probably improve the communication by getting the appropriate specialists or expert involved. And it could make your home life, your work life of better quality.
Mm-hmm. How prevalent is narcissistic personality disorder? How prevalent it is in the workplace, in the communities, in families, and so on?
So it have, unfortunately, in the Caribbean, we don't have very much research that focuses on narcissistic personality disorder. However, the late great Professor Hicklin, who was a professor in psychiatry in Jamaica, about 10 years ago, a little bit more, he would have done some research generally geared towards personality disorders and found that a large amount of the community, meaning I believe more than 50% of the study pool in Jamaica, had one type or the other of a personality disorder. However, it was not specified as to which ones in the results. So in the Caribbean, we don't really have a reference point. Mm-hmm. What I do have, though, is I have about 4 or 5 different studies that were done and evaluated properly, considered statistically relevant in the U.S., that stated about, on average, from these different studies, about 1.6% of the total population, it could be extrapolated that they suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. So there's 1.6. Definitely an avenue for more research closer to home.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood.
Yeah.
No, this is, you know what I'm fascinated about? I remember seeing something. They said the bullies that you meet in your, let's say, primary school, and when they come into positions of leadership, man, it's simply bigger bullies, if it's not treated at an early stage. So if they evince that kind of behavior from early, preschool or primary school, what are we when they become big entertainers and ministers and priests and so on? I mean, we're in for a rough time.
So we, unfortunately, it is not. It have a few psychologists approach this to figure out where this behavior comes from.
Uh-huh.
I say psychologists because, as we will chat about in a little while, psychology and psychotherapy is actually the mainstay of treatment for people with personality disorders.
Okay.
All meaning simultaneously that we do have a specific medication for it, but we have a few effective therapy methods that work. So to give a little bit more insight, out of the persons that were found to have narcissistic personality disorder worldwide, about 50 to 75% tend to be males, and they tend to be young adults to middle-aged adult males. And of course, women make up the remaining minority percent of the presentations. But your question, or what you're describing there, really talks about bullies from small. And you're right, bullies from small who are not given the appropriate treatment or therapy tend to become bigger bullies. And two psychologists decided to talk about this to figure out where this comes from. Now, the narcissistic personality disorder has this this hallmark feature of the grandiosity, right? Where really important. But the question that was asked is, where does it come from? And the first psychologist, Kernberg, he said that a child who is not cared for or loved properly tends to develop an internal grandiose self to compensate and to make themselves feel okay. And this usually happens when you have issues with parenting and the child does not feel okay enough unless they develop this internal sense of self so that so that they can get by and feel good about themselves. Unfortunately, because it is not rooted in reality, it's a delusion that tends to continue without attention. The second psychologist, Mr. Cohut, they said that a child goes through a narcissistic phase as part of our development as children. But if the parenting style is not particularly appropriate, meaning that you don't move out from the stage where the child is the center of the household, then the child tends to continue with that, oh, I am this very important kind of person. And they kind of get stuck in that grandiose stage and this unrealistic sense of self. So the small bullies will become big bullies if the therapy does not take place. And it's unfortunate, but a lot of it happens in the very, very young stages of development. So the sooner you can pick it up, the better.
Right. And you know, a couple of things I want to connect. You said of those affected, 50 to 75% are males and young adults. And I'm wondering, when you say young adults, if it was, you know, fixated at or bookmarked around a period. So, for example, if the study was done 5 years ago, they found that young males 20 to 30 or 35, and whether or not this is the entitlement generation, Gen X, not Gen X, Gen Y and so on, were the entitlement generation.
So the studies that were done, this was done within the last 10 years. 5 studies. Out of these 5 studies, the ages that were taken into consideration were between, or the ones that were found to have the highest result of the highest prevalence was 18 to 44, and much males. So that's kind of the main area of demographics that we found it to be present in.
So that study was 10 years ago. Those studies, those cluster of studies, 10 years ago.
Yeah, so just about.
Right. I got you. But so it's a male thing. It's a man thing then.
Yeah, it's a man thing. It's it has plenty ego involved in it.
Wow.
The stubbornness and the hard-headedness in our local terms tend to be tantamount to this kind of behavior. But something I wanted to make mention of, though, is that not all the time somebody will meet 5 out of the 9 criteria for diagnosis. But that does not mean that you don't have anything. It still means that you have narcissistic personality traits, and that could still be dealt with a therapist. So behaviors, there really is no excuse for the behavior. If we could figure out via observation that something is not looking okay and it should be treated with.
You know, I'm just circling all of these traits. And what are the communication habits or practices of persons affected with NPD, narcissistic personality? How do they talk to somebody else? How do they talk to their team leads, their subordinates, direct reports, how do they talk? How do they behave towards them?
So arrogance. Arrogance is hallmark. They tend to be quite arrogant and extremely high sense of self-importance. That is usually the baseline attitude that you would get. They come along with a unrealistic sense of superiority. Mm-hmm. They tend to devalue the contributions of others and any praise that others may get, especially if they're working on something parallel. They tend to appear humble, but it's a bit of a false humility in an attempt to mask the grandiosity, as they tend to be quite charismatic as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to pick it up sometimes. They also tend to fantasize a lot about more progress, more power, more success. And they would relatively frequently compare themselves to other persons of a similar nature, famous people, privileged people. And the other thing that they tend to do would be to try to associate with persons of high status and kind of use their reputation or allow their reputation to be tainted in a positive way by those that they associate with.
Yes, that's sort of hubris. So they sort of flow in the shadow. They operate in the shadow of great people and expect that kind of hubris will kind of rub off on them.
Yes, even if it is unwarranted, and that is an important thing, because if a lot of people, that they want to be considered very accomplished and very successful, even if there are other persons who've achieved the same things as them, and have gotten the same end result, but they would still somehow feel that they are special and unique relative to that other person. From a communication,
that is not the best kind of behavior to get the best out of people. I'm thinking of the workplace.
So that is exactly what I was now going to mention, because the thing with it is people like this, as you could imagine, they're hard to deal with because they are not coming to work with you; they're coming at you, and they tend to develop that constant expectation that people will just tolerate it for as long as they physically can. So some of the things to look for in the workplace would include things like overworking persons without any regard for the impact that it has on them. And this could be at any level, not necessarily only subordinates, but just not pulling your load, so to speak. They tend to see their tasks as more important than others and expect special privileges, even though others in your office or your facility doing the same thing like you. They tend to have a lack of understanding and sensitivity to others. So this is where the lack of empathy comes in.
Yes.
And if someone would be communicative enough to try to express to them how they feel or what their needs are, or if they have any particular desires, it's not seen as being honest or being communicative, but it is seen as a sign of weakness or a sign of vulnerability. They always expect to get what they want, even if it's to the detriment of others. And the last thing that we notice in the workplace is that they engage in relationships, but only for the sole purpose of enhancing their self-esteem and for their self-purpose.
You know, listeners, viewers, in case you've just joined in, this is Words Matter. I'm Dr. Madonna, and I'm chatting with Dr. Shivan Maharaj about narcissistic personality disorder. And feel free to call 342-0081 or 466-5391 to get in on the conversation. But let's take a break. We have a caller. Hi, morning caller, and we'll take a break after. Good morning caller, how are you?
Well, thank you. Good morning to Dr. Madonna, and good morning to Dr. Maraj. Dr. Maraj, I want to ask a question here. Can those narcissistic tendencies give rise to domestic abuse? Verbal abuse, domestic abuse? I would listen off here. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I hear you. So verbal and domestic abuse could sometimes happen, yes. It usually happens for a very specific reason. The outer shell that you see of narcissists tend to be a very fake shell. And if you dig a little bit deeper, if you criticize, or if you tend to somehow win in an argument and they feel defeated, they don't only feel defeated or down, they take it very, very hard. Because the reality that you've made them aware of is of such difference to what they are thinking of themselves that it could have severe and sometimes fatal consequences for themselves. That's how different they are internally versus externally. And narcissists in general fall into two categories. They could be very grandiose and they keep running up that road, or they could be vulnerable with a mask of grandiosity. Now, what I get with regards to answering the question is that in a domestic argument or where domestic quarrels and so on happen, you have persons who may have been challenged by their spouse. While the spouse may be 100% realistic and they make perfect sense about a situation, the narcissist or the person who's displaying the traits or may meet the criteria for the disorder don't deal with it very well. And if they're in a position where they can abuse, they just might. And it's unfortunate, but it could happen simultaneously. The other thing to note, just in keeping with that, also affecting the household and the workplace by extension, is that there are other mental health conditions that can coexist with narcissistic personality disorder, and more than one diagnosis could take place at a time. So, for example, people with depression, people with anxiety, and people with a history of substance abuse, in particular alcohol and cocaine, tend to sometimes also be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. And in some cases, the substance abuse could make the narcissistic traits a bit more prominent. And unfortunately, it could create a very complex picture where you have the end result being an abusive household or abuse in the workplace. So yes. So long story short, yes. The answer is yes.
It's all interconnected, eh? Another caller. Good morning, caller. Hello. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. This is Words Matter on the Street 91.9 FM.
Caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi. Morning.
Yeah, morning. Just one question. If someone applies for a job and expected to get that job, did not get the job, and the person who is responsible for hiring the person, ended up not hiring the person, and the person now, the applicant for the job, launches a very blistering personal attack on the person who is or was responsible for giving him the job. Would you consider that a manifestation of narcissistic personal disorder? Listen off here.
Did you hear that, Dr. Maharaj?
I think I heard it. If I have it right, I think he's saying that someone applied for a job, did not get the job because someone would have, put a spoke in their wheel, and then the person who applied then tended to launch an attack of some sort.
Yes.
On the employer or the potential employer.
Yes.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that you could make the diagnosis off of one.
Dr. Maharaj, just hold a second. We have a break coming up, and we could answer after the break. All right? Just hold, yes.
All right, so remember, you could call us on 342-0081. We're taking your calls. We're going for a break and come right back. When we come back, Dr. Maharaj is going to answer the question. And those of you who have other questions on Facebook and on YouTube, we would seek to take your questions from there. You could also send us voice notes on 466-5391, 466-5391. Don't touch your dial. Stay right there.
The Foundation for Healing Conversations is a Christian faith community transforming lives through healing conversations. The foundation is currently engaged in transforming the community of Embarcadero in San Fernando. We are working with young men 17 years and over, equipping them with entrepreneurial skills, agriculture, spiritual and attitudinal mindset shifts. To partner with us and experience community transformation at its finest, visit our Facebook page, the Foundation for Healing Conversations, or call us on 398-5013 and become a member of the Foundation for Healing Conversations. I am Dr. Madonna, and I approve this message. Yes, and callers, viewers, listeners, we're back here, Words Matter with Dr. Madonna. And again, you can participate in the conversation around narcissistic personality disorder. You may see persons displaying some of the traits or some of the behaviors that Dr. Maharaj, our guest, he spoke about. He spoke about that sense of grandiosity, a sense of a preoccupation with fantasies. They believe they are special and unique and want to have and always be associated with high status. Persons demonstrating narcissistic personality disorders require excessive admiration and that sense of entitlement. They are, in terms of interpersonal relationship, they are exploitative, they lack empathy, they are envious of others, and they demonstrate arrogance. Dr. Maharaj is answering a question about persons who may not have gotten a job and lash out at the potential employer. A blistering attack was what the caller said. Dr. Maharaj, thank you. Yeah, so to
make a full diagnosis over one incident is a bit brash. We can definitely say that it might have been a bit out of proportion to what took place, because people can apply for jobs all over the place. You don't always get all. That doesn't mean that you should launch attacks on all of the potential employers. But what it could mean, though, is that the person may be going through something. And in a moment like that, which seems a bit, assuming it was more impulsive and out of frustration, could indicate an underlying stress-based disorder. It could also mean a personality disorder, yes, but they need to see someone to see what kind, and if it is in fact narcissistic. If someone is under immense...
I remember, I listened to a lot of radio stations, and there's a concern that a number of regular callers have that in the political wilderness, there are people who may have been promised certain things and positions and didn't get it, and then they turn to be attacking, and there's a sort of bitterness in the political stratosphere in this country because of perceived loss of privilege and opportunities and so on. Are you seeing that?
Definitely. As things change, based on one's, let's call it political preference and the running within, the main parties and so on, you tend to see some amount of, from time to time, unfortunately, you do see some grandiosity within the individual characters on each stage.
Yes.
And it is not healthy. It doesn't help the teams to work better, and is not a good example for the supporters and for people who may have an interest in seeking a future in that same political field, for example. I
like how you couch it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the society, and it's not a very good example for young persons to follow. I think I feel your heart, and I totally agree with you. And very often. Let me ask you a question. I'm just thinking of persons who may be in senior positions, CEOs and so on, right? And demonstrating that kind of behavior and the impact on people's health in the workplace. Can you comment on that?
So I could try. So when you have a person with a supervisory, a managerial, a high up position, is of most importance that these people lead from the front by not setting good work conditions for those who trust that you could have a well-managed workplace that they feel comfortable in. The overall productivity and the individual mental health of all of your employees tend to go down. This is not something that is very rare at all. Unfortunately, we usually have persons who could, talk a lot about work-related stress and about the behaviors that would cause it. And narcissistic behaviors definitely are high up on that list. Wow. Because the expectations of the bosses and so on tend to definitely put a lot of strain on the mental health of those that are expected to have sometimes unrealistic deadlines and expectations. And as a human, we can't keep up with that. And what normally happens is that during a moment of stress, when people have a mental or a nervous breakdown, depending on how you describe it, that's when they show up at our clinics and so on, because they need the help to cope. Because life is so much more than work, right? You have your home life, you have your personal responsibilities. Work is just a portion of that. And it's something that we need. And if you can't work comfortably, then everything starts to go a bit topsy-turvy.
And and this is it's such a conundrum, because they think they're pushing people to get more out of them, but you just said that productivity goes down.
Right, because there's a certain efficiency that you get when workers or employees tend to be comfortable in the workplace. As something that we saw that was applicable, unfortunately, not in a big way to hospital care and so on, but in general during the COVID, was a lot of people started to work from home. And this actually made it a bit easier for them. And some companies have continued to do that now because it's less stress on their employee. It does have financial benefits to the company, but overall people are more capable of managing their life. So depending on the extent of expectations, you could actually push too far and end up getting less. And so you have it's a tight line to toe.
In case you've just joined us, I am chatting with Dr. Shifa Maharaj. She is resident psychiatrist or psychiatry resident, meaning a doctor, at the St. Anne's Hospital, and we're talking about narcissistic personality disorder. Many of you some time ago had asked about treating with that, because I think we are seeing it more and more in the workplace and in our political, in our social, in our community and familial context, even in churches. And I think wherever you have positions of authority, and as you said, it's a man thing, where you have lots of men in positions of influence, there's a high likelihood that some of them, 1.6% of the population, may be affected by narcissistic personality disorders and communicate with persons in ways that belittle, that demean, that put down and crush people's sense of self. And instead of getting more, as we now said, the productivity and person's engagement with what they're doing, that diminishes. And that is the risk of, and the risk of narcissistic personality disorder and the impact it has in the wider society. What can victims of NPD do?
All right, so this is this does change based on where you're working. So if you're working publicly or privately, the first thing to know is that you have a human resource department and you have supervisors usually, and it is always a good idea to make links with these persons, just so that it is that you have that corporate involvement via the department that is designed to deal with these kinds of issues. Now, I just want to make sure that I'm not trying to make people who have narcissistic traits or narcissistic personalities to be enemies or bad people. And I explain why. In some cases, because of how the development of these persons took place, if we go back to what we spoke about happening in childhood, then some of them may actually behave like this and not be aware of it. And because of their personality and the way that they come across to people, nobody will really tell them about it. But it usually reaches a point where you cross a line or you're just overdoing it, and people around you cannot tolerate it anymore. If the person is someone who you think could be approached in a manner where there could be some kind of direct interpersonal resolution, I would advise trying that first. But that is subjective to who you're dealing with. If the person is the kind that is receptive of what you're coming to them with, then you could attempt to create some awareness in that person and see if they could make some changes that will make, people feel more comfortable around them and work better alongside them. In the process, of course, depending on who this person is, do not put your job at risk, which is why I mentioned talk to your supervisor, talk to HR, make sure that you're not doing anything that could negatively affect your well-being and your ability to generate an income. But definitely do it responsibly with, not in an emotional way, and go through your procedures. The human resource departments are supposed to be available, be it the government service or private service. There are supposed to be departments set aside for that, to ensure that not only the mental health of the workers, but the physical health as well, and any changes that may happen are taken into consideration so that everyone is treated in a humane manner.
What perhaps I'd like you to even address, that there are spaces that people go to for relief, for a respite from work. It could be in their temples, mandirs, churches, or even the social group and community groups, their choirs, their sports group. And as the Jamaicans say, them buck up on the same kind of behavior in the workplace. And I'm thinking that is adding to the stress in the society. What are your comments on this?
So I agree. That would be my comment, because unfortunately, everything that you described, even though it's supposed to be a social output, be it based in religion and sports and any kind of activity that is deemed healthy, because they are all in fact organizations, there tends to be some amount of behavior that can cause bacchanal, so to speak.
I like it. Wait, sorry. Let's take the caller and we can to free it up. Caller, morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, you hear me, right?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you for calling Words Matter.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm listening to your conversations and stuff, right? What happened? I have a one-on-one experience with my ex-person, right?
With whom?
My ex.
Your ex?
Right. And what happened, right? I also invited him to come and work where I was working, right? And that was the biggest mistake of my life, because I was talked about. He went to different co-workers because everybody liked how I used to work and stuff like that, and he was mad about it. And he find, well, he wanted to be on top and nobody else shouldn't be I shouldn't be liked by anybody else, right? So after he went and literally bad-mouthed the rest of co-workers, and for everybody to look at me in a different light, even co-parenting is an issue, so
he must always be in charge.
Right. And it turned out to be physical after, and I'm really happy that you all are sharing light on narcissistic abuse, narcissistic persons, because we have so much of them in the society, so much, and you didn't know, honestly, until you really take off that mask off of their faces, and I think the world by extension, the country by extension, will need to learn about this much more, because it's right now for me, I'm talking to you all and I'm still going through my healing process, because it wasn't easy, and it's still not easy battle.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm glad you're out of that situation. I'm really glad.
And I am too. And my contribution to women, I know it may feel like you may be crazy, and you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? And trust me, these manipulation tactics would get the best of you. So if you're in it, please try your best and talk to someone someone that you could trust, because and try your best to come out of it, because it could end in physical abuse and even murder.
Thank you for your courage and your openness to share with us today. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I want to jump on something that she said and to have you comment. She spoke about how he bad-mouthed her, so pulling down her own reputation with his words. And she spoke about the manipulation techniques and really and truly, and the verbal abuse, so that you can look at these communication signs and we come back, words matter. Words can heal, words can kill. Dr. Maharaj?
So I'm sorry that she went through what she went through. I am happy that she's no longer in that position. And I agree with her that when it comes to these kinds of situations, you do need to find a trusted someone to speak to. Holding it in does not help. But more than that, to go down the line of being a little bit medical about it, I wouldn't recommend just talking to anyone. I would recommend via your HR department, you make official complaints, because they try to deal with the resolutions that need to be had within the workplace. If there are allegations about people, if there are gossiping, slandering, they get involved and they need to know, regardless of who this person is. Could be a family, could be a friends. If this person is now being abusive in one way or the other in your workplace and somehow or the other threatening your livelihood, then you need to speak to the relevant persons. Now, on top of that, as I had mentioned early on, just in passing, the main treatment is psychology, therapy. And in our public service, we have the Employee Assistance Program, which is the EAP. Privately, we have a lot of psychologists available, these therapists available. You can Google them. You can find them in basic media. You can find them if you need to speak with them. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because therapy helps people to work through their issues safely and using recognized methods. Another thing to note is that people who have NPD usually don't think anything wrong with them. And normally only when a conflict takes place and you're in a position where you need to get HR involved or you need to get a third party involved, then the person is made aware of their situation. And then the relevant authority, the relevant department could redirect this person for a psychological assessment and the appropriate therapy that comes as a result.
You know what I'm thinking of? There may be workplaces, there are some workplaces that don't have that level of sophistication, no HR, no EAP, and people feel powerless, so they may have to turn to a public source. That's one scenario. And the other, I am thinking of, I'm thinking of people who are untouchable, your pastor, your priest, your imam, your minister of government, and all these 9 things that you point about. I could say, hey, but that's minister so-and-so, that pastor so-and-so, that's father so-and-so, and you sit down in the congregation there and you feel powerless because there's an internal conflict. Let's talk about people who feel powerless and they do not have structures in place to formally file complaints and so on.
So in a case like that, what I could describe, so from a national perspective, we have a very nice network throughout all of the regional health authorities of psychiatric outpatient clinics.
Okay.
These clinics are walk-in clinics. You don't need a referral. You just need to come in and say something. Once you say something to the relevant staff, they would try to, based on the level of seriousness, they will organize an appointment for you pretty much on the spot. If not, see you immediately if it is possible. These clinics, if you need information about these clinics, you could go to your nearest health center, nearest clinic, and just ask for a number, speak with someone. At these clinics, on particular days of the week, which it varies, us doctors are there once or twice a week. But every day of the week, there's always clinic staff, meaning community health nurses, or who we call mental health officers, who do a brilliant job of checking up on our patients in the outpatient setting. And we also have our psychiatric social workers who do the same, and also offer a lot of in-house counseling. And the other thing that we have in some clinics are psychologists. So you can walk into any of these clinics without anything in your hand and just ask to see someone. And someone could see you, could refer you, could give you some advice on the spot. There's always help there.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you talk about the sort of free help. Pastor Google, do we have anybody from our platforms and so on? Right. Okay.
People just calling names of persons
who they believe. and you heard that? I'm asking him.
So there are persons who are identifying individuals that have those characteristics that you are talking about. So on our platforms, social media platforms, they are putting names of individuals who they believe have those characteristics.
And we don't want to call that up because we don't want to get this station or get ourselves or Dr. Maraj in trouble. You know, I remember some time ago, and this is not in Trinidad and Tobago. I remember there was a debate around U.S. President Trump about that, and the panel was hesitant because, you know, for their professional ethics, they don't want to come out and make a diagnosis on the basis of, you know, observations and so on. So I guess what the callers are doing is trying to make a diagnosis just on the basis of what you share.
So I don't want people to do that. I want people to do it responsibly and make sure that you have it right, because we're talking a lot about narcissistic personality disorder, but there are a lot of other disorders. We have 9 others, 10 total that we recognize, and they're all a bit different. So you don't want to just assume that, you know, what happens in this conversation here could be applied to everyone. Gotcha. For 2 reasons. 1, you don't want to misdiagnose, and 2, the treatment may not be the same. So we definitely want persons to go about it the right way, and get the appropriate help with the appropriate assessment. Just to note as well, both psychologists and psychiatrists are capable of making the assessment of a personality disorder. Okay. The difference, of course, is that the psychiatrist is a bit more medical. So if you encounter a patient, let's say a therapist sees someone, and they do believe that they have a personality disorder, but they think they could benefit from a medical doctor's input, they could refer. So meaning that, remember we spoke about people with substance abuse issues, other mental health conditions that usually benefit from medication being on board. That has to be done by the doctor, who works hand in hand with the psychologist. So just make sure that we treat the patient as holistically as possible.
Got you.
I think one of the things I would want for you all, or recommend, that you all do a survey again, because I think from the time that you all did it from now, you may be very much surprised that there are a lot of female who has adopted that tendency. Yeah, I just not doing a diagnosis, but I'm just saying that based on the information you have shared today, and my interaction with and Dr. Madonna was talking about pastors and all of that, there are a lot of women in congregations who are in positions also who tend to show those tendencies.
So I agree with you. I am sure that the up to date the statistics change with as the years go by, and of course, you know, social culture is a big thing. So if people tend to behave more like that and it's considered acceptable by society, then more people may feel that they could go ahead and do that.
I have to say, we have to stop
The
now.
Foundation for Healing Conversations is a Christian faith community transforming lives through healing conversations. The foundation is currently engaged in transforming the community of Embarcadero in San Fernando. We are working with young men 17 years and over, equipping them with entrepreneurial skills, agriculture, spiritual and attitudinal mindset shifts. To partner with us and experience community transformation at its finest, visit our Facebook page, the Foundation for Healing Conversations, or call us on 398-5013 and become a member of the Foundation for Healing Conversations. I am Dr. Madonna, and I approve this message.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Lewis and Friends International presents
the second annual Cooler Boat Ride.
On board the Ocean Pelican.
Father's Day, Sunday, 16th of June. Boarding at the Anchorage, 2 p.m. Sailing, 3 p.m.
Think I coulda get in on my feelings. You coulda get me fi settle down.
Oh Lord.
Biggie a hit and run. Biggie a hit and run.
Just go, strictly white.
Music by DJ Saints, MC Duke and Selector Kachi.
Girl, if you want me, then you can have me. Come on, I see now you for know some girl call.
Tickets cost $250. For more information, call 1-646-923-0407, 742-6882, 479-2503, or 794-9680. The presence of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but is happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Aloy Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Champlain, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on The Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on The Street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on The Street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845, 349-5178, or 342-7303.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Wednesday night from 7:05 p.m. to 8 p.m. live on The Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember, every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. and Wednesday at 7:05 p.m. live on The Street 919 FM.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world.
919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon, I am Chanel Webb with the news on the streets 919 FM and online Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And now the news in detail. Shark attacked a victim on mend after surgeries. Angry supporters tell UNC leader it's time to fire 5 MPs. The finance face-off with government, the Auditor General on collision course. And internationally, at least 40 people die in Western Kenya after dam collapses following heavy rains. And now the news in detail. Shark victim Peter Smith is on the road to recovery after undergoing multiple surgeries at the Scarborough General Hospital since Friday. Last evening, the 64-year-old Smith was in stable condition after he underwent a blood transfusion. Doctors saved his limbs and his wounds were closed and treated. Smith sustained severe injuries to his left hand, left thigh and stomach after a bull shark attacked him while he was bathing at Curland Bay, also known as Turtle Beach, on Friday. Smith, a guest from the UK at the Starfish Resort, was 10 meters away from the shore when he was attacked. The shark, estimated to be between 8 to 10 feet in length and 2 feet in width, caused severe injuries to Smith, severing his left hand from the elbow down, severing his left thigh and lacerating his stomach. Beaches in Tobago remained restricted yesterday as the search for the bull shark involved in the attack continued. Meanwhile, several British media outlets reported on the attack yesterday. The report said Smith, a retired IT worker, had been holidaying on the island with his wife and friends and was due to fly home on the day he was attacked. Chants of "fire them, where were they?" The undermining the party echoed throughout the United National Congress's headquarters in Chaguanas yesterday when opposition leader Kamala Persad-Visessa was asked by party supporters about 5 of her MPs who were absent in Parliament on Friday. The MPs were not there to vote on a motion to extend the period to report on the country's financial accounts for fiscal 2023. The 5 UNC MPs who were absent were Anita Haynes-Allen, Dr. Rai Ragbir, Rodney Charles, Dinesh Rambali, and Rushton Parry. These same 5 MPs were noticeably absent from the party's anniversary function. She said for the first time they had a deadlock in Parliament. Many of the supporters were heard saying, "Fire them, get rid of them." When the PNM brought this unconstitutional piece of law, we should have all been there. 1919, Persad-Visessa said. But the loud jeers and booed drowned out her voice. She said a 1919 vote would have been a deadlock and the Speaker would have had to say no and we would have won that vote. Persad-Visessa said every rope has an end and had to appeal to supporters so she could move along with her address. The Auditor General, Jaiwanti Ramdas, has fired back at Finance Minister Colum Imbut and Attorney General Reginald Amor Senior Counsel via pre-action protocol letter over alleged erroneous statements made in Parliament last Friday about the audited report on the nation's finances. Ramdas, in a legal letter, called on Imbut to retract statements made in Parliament to clear the air and set the public record straight. Last Friday, a government motion to extend the time to present information to the Auditor General was passed in Parliament after Minister Imbut said Ramdas allegedly refused to accept information seeking to correct a $2.6 billion understatement of TNT's revenue for 2023. Imbut said a required report from the Treasury was submitted to the Auditor General in January 2024, but the root cause for the motion was a detection by public servant of a significant variance. The revenue for 2023 was understated by $2.6 billion. Imbut said public servants came to him in embarrassment as they felt it would be improper for revenue to be understated by $2.6 billion. He said legal advice sought that the time had not passed for submission of data indicating to the Auditor General that there were errors in the figures. After failed bids to communicate with the Auditor General and the pre-action protocol letter to her, Imbert said her April 15th reply stated that the Finance Ministry was free to submit a letter by noon on April 16th, recalling the public accounts submitted in January, confirming the declaration previously provided was inaccurate and providing the revised public accounts. Former Attorney General Anaram Lungel, head of Freedom Law Chambers, who is representing Ramblers, claimed in a pre-action protocol letter that was sent yesterday that the government's approach was fundamentally flawed. He has since then called on Minister Imbo to retract statements and clear the air instead of attacking his client in Parliament. Ramdas took Imbo to task by explaining that it was completely untrue to suggest that she did not audit the increased revenue figure. We now head on over to Shanaka Phipps with the sports and the weather report.
Thank you, Chanel Webb. Good afternoon. I am Shanaka Phipps with your sports report. Stephen Ames celebrated his 60th birthday with a successful title defense in the Mitsubishi Electric Classic, closing with a 5 under 67 on Sunday for the 8th PGA Tour Championship victory. A stroke behind Paul Broadhurst after matching the tournament record Saturday with a 64. Ames had 2 eagles in the final round. He won by 4 strokes, finishing at a 14 under 202 at TPC Sugarloaf for his record 3rd victory in the event. Broadhurst is a 58-year-old Englishman coming off a victory last week in the invited Celebrity Classic, closed with a 72 to tie for second with Doug Barron, Keiichi Choi, and Stephen Alka were 9 under. They were 9 under, sorry. Ames became the first multiple winner this year for the tour, also taking the Chubb Classic in February. He had 6 victories in his last 29 starts after winning twice in the first 175, the first at the TPC Sugarloaf in 2017. On the fifth day and under tour, a naturalized Canadian citizen from Trinidad and Tobago, Ames won 4 times on the PGA Tour. In more sports, 4 teams confirmed their spots in the first Citizens Knockout Cup quarterfinals after the opening round of 16 matches kicked off on Saturday. Reigning champions Defence Force and Central FC secured outright wins after regulation time, while Prisons FC and Club Sando progressed via kicks from the penalty spot. In the opening game at La Hopita Recreation Ground on Saturday, Central FC were led to 3-0 victory over miscellaneous Lavansel United, courtesy 2 goals from Kyle Bartholomew and 1 from Dominic Douglas. In Sunday's other quarter-final ties, Eagles FC took on QPCC FC2 at the Frederick Settlement Grounds. San Fernando Giants 2 faced Harlem Strikers FC2 at Maniranjan Stadium in Marabella, and Guaya United 2 hosted MIC Matura FC2 at Guayagawari Recreation Ground. And that's all for sports now. Let's look at your weather. This afternoon and tonight, Trinidad, Tobago and the southern windwards generally fair despite the chance of a few showers favoring western and hilly areas of Trinidad. Tonight will be generally fair. The remainder of the Lesser Antilles partly cloudy with an occasional shower. Our temperature last night, there was a minimum temperature of 24.1 degrees in Piarco and 25.1 degrees in Crown Point. Our maximum temperature today is 34 degrees in Piarco and 32 in Crown Point. Our seas are slight to moderate, waves are 1.5 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in shallow areas. And I am Shanaka Phipps with your sport and weather. Do have a magical Monday for you. Back to you.
Now in entertainment news, Rodney Fireball King is on a mission combining cultures of TNT and Grenada with Soca First. Radio in the Caribbean is big vibes. There are a number of players in the game, and among them has been the legendary Trinidad and Tobago voice of Rodney the Fireball King. The radio mic man, whose name is cemented in the history of urban radio in the Caribbean, is making some major moves, and we're here for it. Though based in TNT, King recently revealed that beginning on Monday, April 29th, he'll be joining Grenada's 101.1 Soca First, a station that's said to be one of Grenada's most influential frequencies, with the aim of revolutionizing and delivering a fresh fusion of TNT and Grenada's culture, music, and overall entertainment vibe. King will be introducing something he calls Operation Shelldown. With 25 years of experience on his side, Rodney spearheads this initiative, which he says seeks to foster regional unity and necessary cultural exchange on a scale that is yet to be achieved. Through this effort, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique will experience an infusion of diverse cultural elements, including cuisine, music, and poetry from both Trinidad and Grenada, he said, explaining that he feels this is an historic time because the move will strengthen each country's potential to earn and exchange value while enriching communities across the Caribbean. Recapping the headlines. Shark victim on mend after surgeries. Angry supporters tell UNC leader it's time to fire 5 MPs. Finance face-off with the government minister and auditor general. Good afternoon, I am Chanel Webb. And that was the news on the street 919 FM. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
News from the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.
And Friends International presents their second annual Cooler Boat Ride on Father's Day, Sunday, 16 June 2024, on board the Ocean Pelican, boarding at the Anchorage, boarding for 2 p.m. and sailing 3 p.m. The dress code is strictly white. Music by DJ Saint, MC Duke, and Selector Kachi. Tickets cost $250. For more information, call 742-6882, 479-2503, and 794-9680. Redemption, the concert, infiltrates the Queen's Park Savannah in Port of Spain on June 1st with positive vibes and love. Get your limited $350 general, $850 VIP drinks inclusive, and $1250 VVIP premium drinks inclusive tickets now. Sizzla Kalonji is on his way to TNT with some of the reggae's biggest influencers: Steel Pulse, Cully Buds, Christopher Martin, and Super Cat. Tickets are available at islandtickets.com. Extra Foods, Grand Bazaar, Arima and Sangre Grande, Cuties, Piaco and Heartland Plaza Chagonas, Java Nation, Port of Spain, and Food Hall, Piaco Plaza. Papa House, Arapita Avenue, In Excess, Arima, and Port of Spain. And down in South, checking out the Den for Men, C3 Center, San Fernando, and over on the Sister Isle at Johnny Q Superstore, Lowlands Mall, Tobago. Redemption is a concert everyone anticipates. June 1st, the See You at the Concert Capital again. Brought to you by Tropics Entertainment and solidified by Johnny Q and Java Nation. Follow Redemption the Concert on Facebook and Instagram for more information, or call our hotline numbers at 780-SHOW or 499-SHOW. Stay in the life. Looking for a pleasurable experience? Then look no further. The Sea Champion is available for rent, sailing from Kings Wharf, San Fernando for a 4-hour cruise. Sailing times are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., 8 p.m. to 12 a.m., and 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. 1 hour boarding and 3 hour sailing. This includes a house TJ for boarding, cleaning crew, security, and a well-stocked bar. For more information on bookings and packages available, call us anytime at 399-5959, 324-4227 or 281-4723.
We are The Street, the only radio station bringing balance to the nation. 91.9 FM.
You are locked onto the street. Locked onto the street.
You already know what it is.
919 FM.
Yeah.
Excuse for crime. No way, poverty is no excuse. You don't ever win but lose. But with upward mobilization, nothing beats good education. Next time a youth man say it, hit him a slap one time. What poverty and no damn excuse for crime. No way. Go tell your pig leader. Bend down on the bread line. Same song they sing and then rewind. Don't care for white ever bust that. Tell them to walk they want that. But to your face they will hiss us right. If see people only miss out a fortnight. But they what we do, how they what we eat. It's that self for causing the problem. Boss man run the bread is the anthem. Force it Beja and gnashing of teeth. Still I remember Michael Hercules when they killed him back in the 90s. The mother said it wasn't murder. His son was just seeking $1 for many of us who broken, who don't have a cent or dime. Poverty and no damn excuse for crime. No way, poverty is no excuse. So when is your time to choose? Instead of shooting and looting, my pattern, my lack still recruiting. Tell them youth man chant it before our next judgment time. Poverty and no damn excuse for crime. So hear me now. If you're starving to death with nothing to eat, that is no excuse. When them vendors get chased off the street, that is no excuse. Unemployment line, you can't get a job, that is no excuse. If you're struggling inside in no money club, that is no excuse. Broke and to thief, you ain't have a cent, that is no excuse. Yeah, mind your picnic, can't pay your rent, that is no excuse. If life's giving you a really hard time, that is no excuse. Poverty is still no excuse for crime. Take a look at Miss Oprah Winfrey. Grew up in abject poverty because of drive and ambition. Today that same Oprah with billions. And over 74 years ago, a little black boy born in Tobago. No shoes on his feet, walked from miles to school, real cool. Never knew the love of luxury. Get chance and had
good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. It is now 12:21. And I know that you are making your way to different establishments to get your lunch. Or, let's be real, some of you had a sumptuous, a really great Sunday. So you made your beautiful macaroni pie, kalaloo, stewed chicken, macaroni salad, macaroni, whatever. And today you walked with your own lunch. So that means that you didn't have to walk all the road to get anything for lunch today. You would have had your lunch all well prepared for you to come to sit at your table or your lunch desk or wherever you are and enjoy it. Or you might just be home and you have already prepared yourself to sit behind your television on YouTube or Facebook or wherever and taking constructive talk with me, Pastor Google. And today's Monday. Yeah, Monday the 29th of April 2024. It's a beautiful Monday outside. I know it is hot outside, but it's beautiful anyway. Anyway, it's beautiful.
No damn excuse for crime. No way.
I know. I love it too. I know some of you might be home dancing and enjoying the song. That's great. So, I'm seeing you all coming on YouTube. What about Facebook? All right, you're joining me on Facebook. Beautiful. I'm seeing you on Facebook. I'm seeing you joining me. So again, thank you all very much for being a part of 91.9. We want to thank Pastor Johnson, who was on from 9 to 10, and then we had a nice little interlude where we played you some beautiful gospel music, and then we had Dr. Madonna Doyle, who would have had a beautiful discussion about narcissistic behavior. You know, I said to her, she have to do a part 2 where I was concerned, because that's an interesting conversation that it's a new, well, not too new, but in the last 2-3 years, you're hearing persons describing the narcissist as if they are someone that, you know, they have been on a low key for some time. So they are out and bad, as you will put it. And we are now taking off the mask off of the narcissist and exposing them for who they are. That's basically what's going on.
Poverty and no damn excuse for crime. So hear me now. If you're starving to death with nothing to eat, that is no excuse. When them vendors get chased off the street, that is no excuse. Unemployment line, you can't get a job, that is no excuse. If you're struggling inside in no money club, that is no excuse. Broke times and thief, you ain't have a cent, that is no excuse. Yeah, mind your picnic, can't pay your rent, that is no excuse. If life's giving you a really hard time, that is no excuse. Poverty is still no excuse for crime. Take a look at me so proud when.
Okay, all right. I know that some of you I know some of you want to know what am I going to talk about today. I heard in our news, the financial phase of government. You see this that situation with the oh Lord. You see this thing that's going on. Something I would have reached out to someone to clarify what is happening. With the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Finance and the Attorney General and the Auditor General. With some clarity on it, so I didn't get through to the person to get enough clarity. You know me, I don't like to delve into things that I don't have enough clarity on. But one thing that I got clarity on, and I would have gone back to the Parliament to listen to clarify what Ms. Bisessa was talking about. Yesterday, the UNC celebrated almost 35 years. Was it 35 years? I'm not sure. I think so. Let me see. I will tell you now. I will tell you. If it's 35 years. I believe that they celebrated yesterday. And I will tell you just now. Wait just now, eh? I will tell you. Yeah. So the UNC celebrated the anniversary yesterday. And within celebrating the anniversary yesterday, within celebrating the anniversary yesterday, I believe, just now I'll tell you. You know me, I like to do my little research first and then touch on it. So yeah, yesterday was the UNC celebration. What did they celebrate yesterday? How much years did they celebrate yesterday? I'll let you know now. So yesterday they celebrated 35 years. You see, I wasn't wrong. They celebrated 35 years yesterday as a party. And in the celebration yesterday, I saw where in the news, let's just see it here in the news. Yesterday they would have called. All right, I want to pull it from here. Right. So yesterday in the celebration, you heard where I heard where supporters of the United National Congress is calling on Ms. Bisessa. Supporters are calling on Ms. Bisessa to fire the 5 absent parliamentarians. The 5 members of parliament who were absent. The supporters of the UNC is calling on the leader to fire them. But you know what? She said something, and I'm gonna play it for you so that right? So that the so that you could you know, be a little aware of why they're calling for her to fire. Who are the 5? Well, I think it's 4. I don't know why they're saying 5. Anita Haynes. Anita Haynes. Who's the other one? Duppy. Oh gosh, sorry. What's his name again? I'm going for a break. By that time I will get the name soldier. All right, I'm going for a break. And I come back, I should be able to tell you all who are the 5 persons that they're calling for her to fire.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Sing and then rewind. Don't care for whatever past that. Tell them to what they want that. But to your face they will hiss us right. If see people only miss out about night. But they what we do, how they what we eat. It's that time for causing the problem. Boss man run the bread is stay on time. Force it measure and gnashing of teeth. Still I remember Michael Hercules.
Yeah, so you had Anita Haynes, the Member of Parliament for Naparima, Mr. Rodney Charles, the Member of Parliament for Shogunas. Get your name now. Then you have the Member of Parliament for Rushton Parry from Miaro. Who is the 5th one though? I don't know who is the 5th one. There's a 5th person that they are asking her, or they're calling on her to, you know now, to deal with. I don't know who's the 5th one. I can't remember who's the 5th one. But apparently they were not in Parliament on Friday. Are you aware of that? They wasn't there. It was 19 government ministers, and it was 19 opposition that was supposed to be there, but they wasn't there. Right? So, yeah, this thing see too bad. So KPB. Who is this? Okay. So let me play it. Let me play it for you. So come on the live. I would like to know who's the fifth person though. I only know 4. I can't remember 5. I only remember 4. For now. I only remember 4. I don't know who's the fifth one. Who is the fifth one? Alright? Who is the fifth one? Okay? Who is the fifth person that I can't remember right now? Okay?
Today I go make a killing. Never once took the thieving. My brains and hard work it climb. Poverty could never absolve right. No way, poverty is no excuse. So don't fall for that abuse. You don't have to rub up cause it's stress because you're poor.
Find out who is the fifth person. Rai Rockbeer. Oh gosh. Rai Rockbeer. I never heard a name before though. I never heard a name before. But Rai Rockbeer is the guy who did not, you know. But here now, only this thing getting interesting, you know. I think I want to play Khadijah Amin for you guys first. Let's play Khadijah. You all want to hear Khadijah Amin? Yeah, I think you all need to hear Khadijah Amin first. You know? Then I will hit you. This is so interesting, boy. These people different, you know. These people different. It's real different out here. So let's play this for you. You all remember this? I played this for you all on Friday, I think it was. Was it Friday? I played this for you. Listen to this. On Friday, I played this for you guys. And so I'll start off the discussion. I'll start off the whole thing with this video. This video I'm going to play for you. I'm going to start off the whole discussion with this video. Take a listen. Take a listen to Miss Khadijah Amin.
Elements, I call them the PNMB team. We are seeing the PNMB team. Tonight I stand before you as a child of the United National Congress. And I say to you, my sisters and brothers, we must stand united. We must be resilient. The East-West Corridor and Trinidad and Tobago is waiting to vote out the PNM. Do not be distracted by losers. PNMB team, people who are only in the interest of themselves and people who we suspect are being paid by PNM financiers.
What? What? Oleo. Oleo that. Ole heard that. Not only hear that. Ole heard what Miss Amin had to say. Did you all hear? Well, let's hear Miss Bisessa yesterday. Jump on the live and take in Miss Bisessa yesterday. Right? Let's take in Miss Bisessa now. Let's take in Miss Bisessa yesterday at their 35th celebration of the UNC. Take a listen.
An UNC party on Sunday addressed supporters at the party's 35th anniversary interfaith service in Chaguanas. In recalling the road it took in getting to 2024, Prasad Bisessa told members of a responsibility they have to keep the party united. Her plea comes on the heels of a few opposition MPs publicly challenging her on internal party matters.
You have a duty to those on whose shoulders we now stand, who came before us. We all have a duty to hold this great party together. Do you agree? That is your job. You are the present and you will be the future.
She says in the parliament on Friday, a few opposition members were not present for a crucial vote, and that alone, she says, shows their lack of commitment to the job.
On Friday, for the first time, we had a deadlock in the parliament. If these MPs didn't break beach and run away from parliament. This is a breaking beach. They run away from the parliament. Run away from the and you want to tell me about parliament and you could run parliament and you cannot even sit down in the seat that you get in the parliament. You want to stay in your seat and vote. What do you think you are there for as a parliamentarian? And we would have won that vote. The government would not have been able to go through with their unconstitutional motion in the parliament. But every rope has an end.
Meanwhile, Basad Bissessa says they are in full election mode, having screened over 200 people ahead of the impending general election. And they will open nominations soon, she says, for 2 vacant local government seats. By-elections are required in Mondiablo following the passing of its last councillor, and over in Lengua, Indian Walk, where a court ruling concluded votes were tied after the last local government election. Cindy Raghubatika Singh, TV6 News.
Wow, they're in full election mode, Olia. They're in full election mode. Right? Full election mode. Look at all they want. They're in full election mode. And while you playing games, while you want to feel well as all is skin, teeth and grin, they are in full election mode. Cool? While you want to sit home and feel well, you know, is all hunky-dory and everything is copacetic as we used to say long time. They are in full election mode. They tell you, they just said it there, she just said it there, in full election mode. You know, full election mode. Full election mode. Tell me about it, Olia. So while Miss Bissessa is in full election mode and not playing games, and she's not playing games, I want to play for you what was said yesterday. I want to play the full thing for you. I want to show you how it started. It didn't start just by, you know, well, the reporter pretty it up a little bit there. I must say, the reporter put it across really nice. But let's do it how, let's play it how it really happened. You in the middle of a speech. Miss Bissessa is in the middle of a speech. And one of her, somebody who's sitting outside in the congregation, in the audience, said to her, tell me what happened Friday. And she answered the person. I didn't know that boy. Yeah, she answered the person. Tell me what happened Friday. And she would have responded. You all want to hear how it happened? I want to play for you all how it happened. Just you know, just for knowledge sake, because I don't know what to feel, you know. I'm going to give them a whole lot of time. I'm just doing this until 1 o'clock. After 1, I'm switching gears. Right? Because it's current affairs. It's a public incident that happened. So I want to show you all. If you want to see, come on the live. If you want to see, type yes. If you don't want to see and you want me to move on, type move on. And I will do that so fast, or they'll be surprised. I'll do it like a bus. I have a full bus. So if you want to see what happened, 2 things I want to show you. Tell me if you want to see it. 1, do you want to see how this incident, how it came up in the public domain, how it made news? Type yes. And if you want to see what happened in the parliament, type yes. So I'm giving you some time to type it up. So I'm giving you some time. Come on the live and type yes, you want to see, or no, you don't want to see. I will take some calls too. If you want to see, if you don't want to see, let me know. Yes, yes. Oh, look at yes on YouTube, boy. If you want to see, type yes. If you don't want to see, type no. I'll take some calls. I'll take about 5 calls. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, and everybody won, but they're not near the computer, but they have the radio and the computer on.
Well,
everybody was saying yes.
Well, all right then. Thank you very much. 342-0081, 342-0081, 466-5391, 466-5391. Do you want to see or you don't want to see? Yes or no? Just type yes or no. And I'll take calls in the meanwhile. Hello, good afternoon. While you're coming on the live, hello, good afternoon.
Well, I had to say yes, right? But Pastor Google, that clip you're on. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yeah. That clip that video you just played. The lady living up to her name as a stranger to the truth. The last 3 votes in the parliament, or more than 3, is 14 and 15. She said that the first time Friday. That's a lie.
All right.
The last 3 votes.
For the last 3 votes, they're blank. For the last 3 votes, they're blank, you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
14 and 15 is the call. You can check the answer for that. I just watched Parliament. I don't know, she said that the first time. That's a lie.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Cole. Yes, thanks for the airplay. Want to see it? Don't understand.
What airplay? What airplay? What airplay? See, you see how anyway, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. All right, so I'm seeing people saying yes. So come on the live. Yes. All right, I'm going to show you it now. So this is what happened at the UNC 35 years anniversary. I want you to listen to how it happened, eh? Listen to how it happened. Not just listen, but watch too how this thing pan out. So Ms. Bisasa was in the middle of her speech. Listen to this and watch this. Wow.
That's their vote what Friday? The 19 votes. You really want me to talk about that?
So you see, somebody in the audience, Ms. Bisasa, in the middle of her speech, you know, she was pontificating, talking, and a man say, but you're not hearing what the person's saying, but you're hearing her responding to the person. So listen, eh?
That's their vote what Friday? The 19 votes. You really want me to talk about that? Today's a good day. I don't want to talk about people abandon the parliament on Friday. You want me to talk about that? Well, you know the UNC has 19 MPs, okay? On Friday, I think 18 of us were present up to a certain time. One, I think, one did not send an excuse for not attending. So when the PNM brought this motion to delay and to extend and to hide the report and whatever, when time to vote now, the PNM bench has how many? No, Friday they had what? 19. On Friday, for the first time, we had a deadlock in the parliament. If these MPs didn't break beach and run away from parliament. This is a breaking beach. They run away from the parliament. Run away from the parliament. And you want to tell me about parliament and you could run parliament and you cannot even sit down in the seat that you get in the parliament. You want to stay in your seat and vote. What do you think you are there for as a parliamentarian? So when the PNM brought this unconstitutional piece of law, we should have all been there in 1919. Then what happens? What would have happened 1919? Then the speaker now has a vote. But the practice, the procedure, and the law is where you have a deadlock, the presiding officer, the speaker, must vote to keep the status quo. In other words, the speaker would have had to say no. And we would have won that vote. The government would not have been able to go through with their unconstitutional motion in the parliament. But every rope has an end. Every rope has an end. Every rope has an end. Okay, let's move along, please.
So you all hear how the people was, whatever the people was saying, and they were the one who would have pushed the discussion, right? They were the ones who pushed the discussion. I'm going to take this call. But I still want to play for you. I still want to play for you how it happened in the parliament. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am good and not so good. Let me tell you something, eh? Let me tell you something. The Cessa is a lawyer by training. She's a long-standing parliamentarian. But she takes all of us for damn fools. And I make no apologies for saying that. Let me tell you something. What is the meaning of status quo? Maintaining the status quo. In other words, keep things as they are and vote to keep things as they are. She says that it would have been 1919 if the 5 people had stayed in the parliament. What is the status quo when it goes to the speaker? And it happens in the Senate from time to time. When the vote, once there's a deadlock, and the vote goes to the President of the Senate, the President of the Senate votes for the status quo, meaning the government, the people who put him there. That is the status quo, Madam Bifessa. But you think everybody is a damn fool? What do you think the Speaker of the House would have done? In your interpretation of status quo, vote no against the government, against the people who put her in that seat? Well, Bifessa thinks let me just control myself today. The status quo means sticking with those who put me there. That is what the status quo means. Right? That is what the status quo means. The status quo does not mean voting against. It is not the same as voting against. Voting against is voting against the status quo, meaning how it was there before. And that's why you have votes. And that's why you have a casting vote. Casting vote meaning at the flip of a coin, one person has to make the critical decision. In this case, Pastor Google, who has the casting vote? The Speaker of the House of Representatives. And therefore, who would she vote for? The UNC? You think she would vote for the UNC to break a deadlock? She will vote for the government. She's a government-appointed speaker. It is the government that put her there. It's the government that put her there. The only time something close to that ever happened was in the mid-90s, when Oka Sipol, as the speaker, attempted to vote against the government that put her in power, which is Manning's government. And we know the end result of that. House arrest. The status quo means those who put you there, keeping the government in check, not in check, keeping them in place, keeping the government's proposal for legislation in place. So the Speaker would have voted for the government and made it 2019. End of story. What is this, a failure? Damn fools or something? Status quo does not mean voting for the opposite side. It means voting for the government. Voting for those who put you there. I think I've said enough. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, Pastor Google. How are you doing, my son?
Hey, I am all right. How are you going?
Well, yes, I have to join you. While although I'm on the road, I have to join you on this discussion, I want to talk to your people, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to share with them that at this time you're seeing couture, bacchanal, chaos and confusion in the UNC. But that has been so far a very long time, Pastor Google.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and in doing so, they changed the name 7 times, Pastor Google. So what you've seen as the UNC, let me tell you the history. In 1953, it was called the People's Democratic Party, led by Barry Sagan Maraj. After that, it changed to the Democratic Labour Party. And you know who was the opposition leader? Reginald Capello. You know, he was living in England. He was opposition leader and spent most of his time living in England. But bacchanal and confusion. It changed to Workers and Farmers Party. And then it went to the United Labour Front. And then it went to Club 88 in 1988. 7 reincarnations. And when you compare that to the PNM, from 1956 PNM right through to 2024 PNM, no bacchanal, no confusion, no couture. That is what you call a stable political party. But the people have to decide in 2025, Pastor Google.
Yep.
They have to decide whether they're going to for a stable or unstable, patch up, put together, could break up any time political institution called the United National Congress, which started, as I said, in 1953 as the PDP and ended up as the UNC. PDP, DLP, STLP, Workers and Farmers Party, United Labour Front, Club 88, and then UNC. That's what you want? You want a mash-up? Anybody could get vexed and pull out and say anything that they want. That is what you want to deal with Trinidad and Tobago? We have too much money involved. The stake is too high. Billions of dollars involved there. So we have to be careful. When you make your choice in 2025, think. Thank you very much, my people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chance. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Kuku. I don't know the song I was going to sing it. PNM solid as a rock, Pastor Kuku. And very focused. And it's not just that I support the PNM as a name. I support it because it's an institution that is looking after the people's business. Nobody's perfect. And the Bible tells us that. No man is perfect. If we were, Jesus would not have had to die for us. And so people have to stay focused. There are many times that the UNC walks out of Parliament. Because what? They don't even stay to vote. Who they represented then? People, be focused. Read, listen, analyze properly. If you don't know, ask again. Ask again. Do your research. Please, it's about you and the time you live on earth. It's about you and your family. So make sure that you make the right choices. And at PNM, I'm not going out there and spreading the good. Well, some of them are doing it. You are doing it. And whoever, I'm not saying that you are PNM, but you are somebody who is looking after the interests of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So people, take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good morning, Pastor Booger.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you going there?
I am all right.
I to myself. God cover me, brother Jesus. I just want to shout out to Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody stay safe, and God is covering us. Yeah? Have a blessed evening, Pastor Google.
Same to you.
Okay, bye-bye, eh?
Bye-bye.
All right, okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, I want to take you all back to the Parliament. You see, let me tell you all something. People find, only taking too much time talking about the UNC. Let me tell you something. And I will draw this analysis, and I'll say this one last time, and I'll draw this analogy, one last time. Listen to this. If I want to run a company, or I want the best example is if somebody want to give you advice on something, and the thing that they are giving you advice on, they cannot even take the advice of themselves. Their life in a mess, but they want to give you advice to your life. That don't make any sense. That don't make any sense. They running a business, the business running a bus. The business not making sense. The business is a bus. But they're telling you how to run your business. That makes sense to you? That don't make no sense to me. So they'll say to me, don't talk about the UNC, forget the UNC, let's talk about what the PNM doing and all of the PNM doing. But it's current affairs we just talk here. So, you bring the awareness of, if the UNC cannot, and you see, if the UNC can't have their house in order, they're dealing with the shabby, they're shaky, and they're telling you that we are the alternative, we are the government and waiting. But at the end of the day, when you look at how they operating as an opposition, as a party, you're realizing that they're shaky. Imagine the president, the president of the Senate asking Ms. Khadija Amin to vote, and she say, "What voting for? What voting for? I'm supposed to vote? What voting for?" You don't believe me? All right, watch this.
Mr. Lee?
No.
Miss Amin?
I don't even know you voting.
Miss Amin?
I don't even know you voting. Sorry. Police.
Miss Amin?
I don't even know you voting. Sorry. Police.
She even know what she voting on. Oh, let's see. Yes, boy. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Pastor Google. Good afternoon. Caller from the Tobago here. Yeah, you know I like Pastor Google? I like that Mr. Yates and Mr. Chance. They don't speak for much. You understand? They don't speak on behalf of the country. They speak on behalf of themselves and the supporters. You understand? Because I don't even feel that the citizens of this country mad to go through that kind of crisis, that kind of trials and tribulations for 9 years under this PNM administration and go back again to...
Caller? Hello, caller? All right, caller, you want to call me back? Like you're breaking up a little bit and I'm not hearing you too. Okay. Caller, you're breaking up. You're breaking up really badly. So you may have to call me back, please. All right? And I want to take your call, but you see, it is going on what? Reconnecting or whatever. So you'll have to call me back, caller. Going for a break also. So I'll give you enough time. That'll give you enough time to call me back and to make a contribution. All right? So I'm going for a break and come back.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Are you just tired of bad news in your communities, TV screens, and newspapers? Well, I have good news for you. Introducing Positive Corner with Naka every Tuesday from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Highlighting young, vibrant, and future stars spreading our nation's banner across the world. Telling their story about their journey to success and overcoming the negativities that plagues our land. Come, let's sit, discuss, have a few laughs, but at the same time learn something new. Every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Positive Corner, where challenges are opportunities for growth.
Jazz and wine, or is it beyond jazz and wine? Sunday, May 5th, 4 p.m. Center stage, the queen amongst the kings, powerhouse vocalist Mauricia Kagan, saxophone specialist Malcolm Boyce, versatile and captivating Siggy Rankin, pianist extraordinaire Dane Galston with his band live Sweet Bread, and the chosen one, Ja melody will get you off your seats. This event is definitely beyond jazz and wine. Experience this musical journey at the enchanting outdoor garden theater at Queen's Hall. Transform into an oasis fit for kings and queens. Sunday, May 5th, 4 p.m. Limited early bird tickets available at Java Nation, Queens Park East, and online at islandetickets.com or call 737-2373. Jazz and wine. Experience the sweetness over and over again.
Have become one, we're doing it all for you. We're here to build a nation, that's what we're made to do. From mortgages, investments, and financing too. Welcome the new, brand new TTMB. Yes, we'll see you through. We're here to make you reach higher. We're here to be your new leader. Two giants have come together to work for you under one roof. TTMB, yes, we're meant for everything, mortgages and investments. Leaders have come together to work for you under one roof. One roof.
The Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company and Home Mortgage Bank have joined forces. Introducing TTMB, the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Bank. Own your future.
For the love of our moms, this Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12th, bring mom and the entire family to laugh out loud.
All you hear what happened? A man break in a store in Port of Spain and thief a set of wigs. Right now, police combing the area.
Is the annual Laughter for Moms 2024 with all new Bacchanal from Larry Joseph, Kenneth Superson, Damian Melville, Drunken Saint, the new stars of stand-up comedy and more. Musical guest Farmer Nappy, the sweet soca man Baron, the beautiful Sanel Dempster, Oscar B, sensational panist Joshua Regrello. Get your early bird tickets today at Napa's box office and islandetickets.com. Selected cachets and extra food supermarkets, Crosby St. James, Bellini's San Fernando. And for more ticket information, call the 24-hour hotline at 774-5555. The Mother's Day event not to miss. Laughter for Moms 2024. Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12th. Napa, Port of Spain, showtime 5:30 p.m.
It's time to win big as we get you ready for Redemption, the concert on June 1st. The Redemption Roadshow takes center stage with over 60,000 in prizes and Redemption ticket giveaways, plus pure conscious vibes. 12 locations, 12 grand prizes, and tons of giveaways are in store. This Friday at 8 p.m., the Redemption Roadshow stops at Cutie's Bar and Restaurant, Heartland Plaza, Shigwana. Sunday, 28th April. Join in the excitement at Steel Restaurant and Lounge, South Park, San Fernando, 10 p.m. For more info, call a 780-SHOW.
This is Natural Health Solution, where we offer a range of holistic services. Or HemaView, which is a deep dive into blood detection, both live and dry assessment. Or BioResonance full body assessment, or full body lymphatic detoxification. Or physical therapies include back, neck, and shoulder massage, sciatic nerve compression, and more. Our new beauty line includes both facial, mole and tab removal, and much more. Join us every Tuesday at 8:05 to 8:35 right here on the street 91.9. Call our numbers is 222-2189. That number again is 222-2189.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Wednesday night from 7:05 p.m. to 8 p.m. live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Join him him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember, every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. and Wednesday at 7:05 p.m. live on the street 919 FM.
If you want greater respect from your bankers, bosses, those in authority, then words matter. If you want more productive business relationships with co-workers, customers, or clients, then join Dr. Madonna on the street, 919 FM, every Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon for Words Matter. Communication for joyful workplaces. Dr. Madonna will help you unlock the secret power of words for your financial, relationship, and physical well-being. Whether you work at home, on the road, or in an organization, join Dr. Madonna every Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon for Words Matter. Communication for joyful workplaces.
Yo, this is the Big Mike, not the mass man, the help man. And joining me
will be Little Mike as we discuss tips on taking you from zero health to optimum health using different protocols and techniques. Trinidad and Tobago. Join us every Wednesday from 10:05 a.m. to 10:35 a.m. on the street 91.9 FM for
Health Talk with Big Mike. It's not where it is, it's here it is. Boom!
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio. Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
You are invited to join Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko, in Sangre Grande, for the Old-Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry, every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Mondays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., Trauma and Bereavement. Also, every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., The Low and You. Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., dealing with disabilities. And every Friday evening from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., the all-night prayer live on the street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with the day's issues from a biblical perspective, and you'll also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, He had showed you, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of you, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795-222. For further information, call 753-1113 or 610-4673.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Good afternoon again, Trinidad and Tobago. So it's now it's 1:11 now. All right, it's 1:11. So I have to show you something. You know, some good news, some good news. So jump on the live and take in this good news segment. Taking this good news segment. You know what I mean? Take it in. Taking this.
Are you ready to grow your small or medium-sized business? The Ministry of Trade and Industry is offering grant funding for qualified registered businesses. The General Grant Fund facility covers up to $250,000 to acquire machinery and equipment, and in some instances, software, tools, and patents for new technology in 8 sectors. For companies producing alternatives to wheat flour, you can now access up to $340,000 to purchase new machinery or equipment. For steel pan manufacturers and pan tuners, the ministry offers a steel pan manufacturing grant fund facility where you can access a maximum of $250,000 per tranche for new equipment, software tools, raw materials, and training. As we rebuild our local yachting sector, micro and small service providers can access funding to cover costs for machinery, equipment, utilities, rent, and raw materials. To learn more about how the ministry can support the growth of your business, visit our website at www.tradeind.gov.tt. Are you ready to grow your small or medium-sized business?
Trap. Oh, when will mankind learn to see that the further we stray from Jehovah's roadmap is the more we invite in misery. There's no better way in this world for peace and total rest. Tried and tested, Christ's way is the best. No philosophy, no creed could ever supersede what the Holy Bible, wonderful oracle, showing the people. Oh yeah, and 2 shall be in the field, 1 shall be taken. Oh yeah, 2 shall be at the wheel, only 1 will fly. Every stone shall be upturned and false doctrine shaken, while God's truth and His people are lifted high. Never needed religion or systems of it. His word stands on its own and proves its worth. Yesterday, today, forever. God's promises changes never. And true government is when God leads the leader. Lead them on, yeah. True government is when God leads my leaders.
Selected students of the Ministry of Youth Development and National Services Youth Agriculture Homestead Program were introduced to solar panel training offered by the Automation Technology College Limited. The one-day training held on Tuesday, October 31st, 2023 at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, ECIAF campus was delivered to 15 students at no cost. The training was geared towards equipping them with additional skills to treat with issues concerning climate change and to expand their knowledge of the advantages and disadvantages of solar-powered systems. The solar panel training was delivered in 2 parts, both theoretical and practical. The students expressed their pleasure to learn this additional skill that will not only enable them to save money, but also assist them in the farming process as well as the climate change battle.
My key takeaway from the class today was basically the familiarization with solar panel. I never really got any other information or any hands-on activity with it, right? So that familiarization part was a great factor for me.
My key takeaways from the class today was the advantages of solar power and the other avenues that we can explore towards renewable energy, such as biogas and solar, which would be especially useful to farmers in Trinidad and Tobago.
It's very easy for us to implement something that is an alternative form of energy where even off-grid you can have access to electricity or power your tools and equipment, which is necessary for farm operation or even your household operation in the event that there is not access to enough electricity on your farm.
Seeing that some farmers would be isolated in the forestry, I definitely would choose solar power, as using the sun would be more beneficial than having electricity run quiet in the bush. It would cost a lot more doing it that way. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to other farmers.
Oh, well, it's impressive how everybody stayed back to the end and was asking questions and so on. And what they were asking about, you could see they're actually thinking about practicing using solar in future for themselves. So I'm hoping that makes a difference. What we are trying to do with ATC is bring about the use of solar in agriculture. Presently in Trinidad, a lot of farmers use mainly gas-powered engines. Gas-powered engines use anywhere between $100 to $300 in gas every day. We are hoping with showing farmers how the use of solar can help cut that down. It could make a difference, and this is why ATC is here today in this program.
That's some of my good news. Good news. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. You know what I like about you? You just show callers when they're talking rubbish now. You just show them the rubbish they're talking, because and nothing happen. Look at the good news you show them. The real good things happening in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? I don't know what's wrong with people. Like, here must be a welfare state. You get which part of the world, which in any first world country, show me where these things exist. Subsidized gas, right? Car, cooking gas, subsidized water, subsidized light, free education from nursery to tertiary, free healthcare. You could be a vegan, and your father could be a vegan. You could go by Nitco and start your own business. You could be a doctor, anything in this country. What people let's talk about? What people talking about? That you're not seeing? Great is this country, man. God bless this nation. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
God bless Trinidad and Tobago and its people. Yes, caller. God bless Trinidad. The caller from Tobago, I hope he's listening and to spread this onto his friends and family and all persons that need that service, Pastor Google. I hope he can do that, because we don't know what situation he is in, and he probably should access one of those programs. Because like the caller says, there are a lot of places that you cannot access this, and it's good news for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if he was cool under Fally. Good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so taking your calls, 342-0081, 342-0081, 466-5391. What are your thoughts about the videos that I've shown so far? I showed you from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. It's Paula Gopi School, and then I also showed you from the Ministry of Youth and National Service. Hello, good afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Pastor Google, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The problem in this country is that the government will create opportunities for people. And we know full well who the government wants to create opportunities for, and who they're creating opportunities for, who they're trying to live to make a better lives of themselves. But you know what?
What, sir?
They prefer to neglect that and just want handout and cost the government.
You really
rowdy
think so?
This, rowdy that, rowdy the other. And not take the opportunities that is being given to them by the government.
All right, so listen to me. You really think so, or you think that the government has to find other ways and means to get it to or get it through the listeners or the young people?
Pastor Google, you and I know.
I just tried to find another way. I just try to see if there is something else, because let me tell you something. Yes, we know that they can't get through to everybody. And yes, we know that there will be a few misled ones who would think here what's going on. Nothing. Because let me tell you something. I wanted to stand in line 1 minute. Let's have a dialogue here. Listen to this, right? My wife told me to go and get mac and cheese for my son. Right? I'm giving you a scenario here. I'm giving you a story here. So let's say my wife says to me, Pastor, given that we go and get mac and cheese for Gigi, right? And I go to the shop, a kind of village grocery to the bottom of the street. And I go there and I call her and I say, I'm not seeing no mac and cheese. All I'm seeing is pack soup. Listener?
Listening.
I turn and I say to myself, here what, there's no mac and cheese here, there's pack soup. Let me call and let them know that there is only pack soup. Right? But while I'm calling, my eyes drop to the bottom shelf and I see the mac and cheese. Now remember, I was of the opinion that there wasn't any mac and cheese. There was only pack soup. Right? Now, two things. No, it was my responsibility to ask the owner of the shop, do you have any mac and cheese? Because I'm not seeing none. So I could have gone away with the idea that there's no mac and cheese. Right? That's one, I could have asked. Or two, I could have looked properly. Listen, I wait to listen to this, you know. No, I could have left that shop and tell all my neighbors, you know, the grocery down here don't have no mac and cheese, when they do have mac and cheese. Because I didn't look properly, number one, and number two, I didn't ask. The issue with the young people or some people in this country is that they don't ask and they don't look. Right? Because, and I could tell you that safely because the same shop owner was saying to me that he is sending his son away to America to get better opportunities because there's no opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago for young people. Guys, what he tell me, you know. And I draw the example that I just told you about. I said, sir, what you are saying there is not true. He said, well, you consider that? I said, because if I was to had left your shop and tell the whole community that you don't sell mac and cheese because I didn't look and I didn't ask, you wouldn't like that. He said, that is true. I said, and that is what you are doing. You're not looking and you're not asking. Because the Ministry of Youth and National Service have countless programs for young men in Trinidad and Tobago. When I started to show him, and then I would have called a friend who worked at the ministry and gave him the information, you know, he had to change his tongue.
Pastor, Google, hear this. Your analogy is quite acceptable. But you know what? I like how you say the government is creating, I go in this way, the government is creating countless opportunities for young people. So if you don't get through to one, you have the option of seeking out another and go until you find and make something better for yourself. But you know what? It has people who does be on that radio station in the evening cussing as though the government is creating no opportunities for young people. And that is a major problem in this country. Because we know, you and I know, so much opportunities are being created for young people to do better for themselves. And let me go this way, particularly for the African youth and where it is happening. Every day, the government, they cussing the government left, right, and center, up and down the tongue, as though the government is creating no opportunities for young people of African descent. And I have a real problem with that. When people want to make it out as though things so bad, so African youth, again, nothing at all. That is so sad in this country.
All right, caller, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. Right. Pastor Google, you hear what Mr. Watson Duke said? The youth tell them they don't read. He said they don't read, and that is so true, eh? They're not reading. So if you don't read, how you will know what's going on? They're not buying a paper to read anything, to see what's going on in the country. You understand? And I want to tell that same young man from Tobago, I don't know that Dr. Rowley this and PLM this and PLM that. Why you study the shark that bite up the man in Tobago? Study that. Study what's going on with the gentleman in Tobago. I hope you all have money to pay that man, Okay. Right. Go on.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Hi.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Pastor Google, I'm listening to your conversation on the topic what's going on here, right? All right? Pastor Google, you remember Digomata, some years gone by, Digomata in West didn't have a minister. We only had a member of parliament. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Right. And what did Dr. Rowley do? Dr. Rowley leave and went in another country because he have a family to maintain, right, Pastor Google? He went to make his life better, right? So at least something will be coming in. I have to maintain my family, right? He must have known that when he was not, we didn't have a minister, we just had a member of parliament, right? And like you said, yes, so you have an idea what I'm speaking about, right?
Yeah.
Right, so you see, it have a lot of opportunity, you understand me, for young people. But Pastor Google, some will be interested and some will not be interested because let me tell you something. That's why I blame some parents. So Pastor Google, because no child ain't getting up in my place when 11 o'clock come. Ma don't cook. Ma want $100. And when I get the $100, you're on the block line, right, Pastor Google? We drinking and we smoking. And just when I feel to come back in, I come back in, right? So I still say the parents have a part in the blame also. It have a lot of opportunity out here right now for young people, Pastor Google. Right? You know that too, Pastor Google, because you don't be paying a lot of things. But for them to, if they don't know, at least they hear. But as I said again, probably not everybody have a radio close to them, right, Pastor Google?
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, and that's true. Not a lot of persons have, radio and willing to watch what's going on. But I have to still play it, and I have to still.
Yes, right. So that's what I'm telling you. So what you're doing there, you put sending out a lot of knowledge to young people out there. What? They got this opportunity, boy. Or no, I can get in touch with that. You understand me?
Yeah.
And nobody had to pay nobody. You understand me? But Pastor Go, it's nice to see. I saw on the 12 o'clock news to the gentleman doing very good, man. Thank God for that, right?
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yes, thank God. He's doing very good. Okay, have a good one.
Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor Google. Good afternoon to these listeners of the Street 919 Constructive Talk. Pastor Google, I had to say, you have to just continue doing what you're doing. Continue doing what you're doing. Because, if you don't continue doing what you're doing, it have people in this country have a tendency of forgetful Jones. Right? And I just want to piggyback on what Mammy said just now. It have a lot of opportunities in this country for young people. Not now, but since back then in the late Patrick Manning days. Right? It have CCC, it have MOS, it have GAP, and now it have MyLat, MyPad, it have ETIAF, it have you name it. But you see, Pastor World, we as a people, I should say all, some of us grow on a dependency syndrome on the government. They feel that they're entitled to, or the government have to give me. You understand? How much are these youths now that gravitating to the opportunities that are given out by the Ministry of National Service, Youth and National Service? You understand? And that is my problem, right? Or they want to cost the government and say 9 years the government they ain't giving nothing, and 9 years Dr. Rowley they ain't anything, and 9 years what you all are doing to enhance that. Because the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Youth and Services gave you all opportunities. So what, you want them to come and bring it in front of your house here? Come and rest on your lap?
But Eric, hear what, right? Here, and we're talking here because we're trying to find, my thing is, all right, so how can we get our young people who not interested, who believe in a lie or following a narrative that they doing nothing for we, or we were the money, and how we could get through to them.
My take to it, right, is to have like workshops, forums. So at least, you know what I mean, you go to the communities, you have meetings with the youths or youth leaders and let them know, hear the concern then, hear the problems, the situation, and how best we can address it. And within that now, you can have some persons from the Ministry of Youth and National Service coming to let them know, hey, we have this, we have this, we have that, X, Y, and Z, that you all could come to us for any information that you all needed. Now, you see, our problem is, you see, the public relations and the People's National Movement is the biggest challenge right now in this country. And that is my problem, because until we get that sorted out, it will always be spinning top in mud, and the information would not be getting there to the youths. So the problem is we need to fix the public relations in the party first. That's my take on it.
All right.
Doctor, I'm listening.
Yeah, man, thanks. Hello, good afternoon.
Well, Pastor Google, I listen to my brother there, but you know, I always blame it on we parents ought to be a little better role model. Not totally, because there's a lot of factors and things that will contribute or that contribute to that. All right, but we ought to set examples. We ought to be persistent, consistent. You know, there is so many opportunities there for us, but there is the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's which one they are following, you know?
All right, man.
Yes, okay then.
Thank you. All right. I would have gone on the street and asked young persons on the street what are their views, or how could we get through to them. I want you to listen to this. Come on live and watch this video.
All right, Trinidad and Tobago. So I have another young man here with me who is going to share his views on how the Ministry of Youth and National Service can get the word out there for other young persons to be aware of the programs that are being offered. So you're sharing with me a while ago what they can do.
Right. So what I was sharing is, what you can do is target the students that are leaving school and coming out into the public. Target those students, so they could be more aware of these kind of programs, because they is the one that coming out into society right now as we speak. So they is the one going to be vulnerable, not having a job, don't know what to do, and they're just like headless chickens. So target these students into those kind of programs, and that should be. That should be
a help. What you would have heard, I played for you one of the programs that they are offering to young men and women who have their license. What do you think about that program?
I think that is an excellent program. As long as you have a skill will help you. Because everybody have book sense. Some people just have talent, some people just have natural hands-on skill.
Right.
That's an excellent program.
All right, man. Thanks very much for sharing your view.
Right. So that was a young man who I met on the street of Port of Spain, and I would have interacted with, and I interacted with several young persons, not just him alone, but there are several other young persons, and I'm going to play it for you one day. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Pastor Debo.
Hi, good afternoon.
How was your weekend, King?
Pardon?
How was your weekend?
Interesting.
All right, now here, man, I like the conversation. You give a nice example of your personal thought about going to a supermarket, and when you went there, you was looking for something, and based on that, you didn't look properly, you didn't ask whatever. But let me ask you a question. When you was going to the supermarket, you was going to the supermarket under being in opposition to the owner of the supermarket?
No. No,
I go in. That is the dynamic.
All right, listen to this.
That is the dynamic you're missing.
I didn't go in opposition. I went genuinely looking to buy mac and cheese to my son. I went with an open mind, believing that this small supermarket should have mac and cheese. But listen to this, The reality and the reality of it is, I'm what telling you is the gospel truth. So I am watching the what you call it, the pack soup, looking at the pack soup, and saying to myself, okay, I'm not seeing no mac and cheese. So here what? The next best thing that he would like is the pack soup. Not knowing right underneath the pack soup bedroom is the mac and cheese, But I didn't see it.
Beautiful. So you went with an open mind, looking for that.
Yeah.
The issue here with us in Trinidad and Tobago is that you have people in opposition to the PNM. And no matter what good things the PNM would have done for this country, they reject that. Because those same new programs you're talking about, they are oversubscribed. Just as what you're now saying. That when the program is open, it has so many young people gravitating to it, want to get into it, but it could only hold so much spaces. It could only hold so much amount of young people involved in the program. That is not the issue for the people who are in opposition to the PNM. You hear that Tobagonian man who called there a couple calls ago? All he identified is Mr. Yates and Mr. Chan. He don't have time to identify what the leader of the opposition have been doing to this country since she out of the corridors of the executive arm of government. While she was there, she was making mess. While she in opposition, she making mess. She identified that members mustn't walk out the parliament. But when them walking out the parliament, them could do what they please. Their members don't even see that. Their members remain quiet. He come on the radio, instead of talking about what you talking about, he want to just talk about Mr. Chance and Mr. Yates. Mr. Chance and Mr. Yates identify issues, real issues facing this country. And the day we bounce our head as right-thinking citizens and put back that UNC into the executive arm of government, because all they want to be there for is to interfere with the person. That's all they're about, is to get hold of taxpayers' money, do with it as they please. They know full well they did it the last time, nobody ain't get locked up. You don't have a police service that could investigate white-collar crime. You don't have a DPP that understands how serious it is. You don't have a judge and a magistrate to make examples of them. So they know the minute they get a chance to go back into the executive is to do the same thing they was doing all the time. That is the situation we're facing as people living here. So it doesn't matter how much good things the PNM... It doesn't matter how much good things the PNM does. When you have opposition to the PNM, it don't matter how much work you do, how much you presenting it based on facts, and if the right-thinking citizens will go to the polls and vote back the People's National Movement. Thanks for the time, Pastor Google. Have a good evening.
Same to you. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. Good afternoon, Pastor Google, and to your listeners. Pastor Google, I've been listening, and to be quite honest, it's not that it doesn't have opportunities here, As you say, sometimes you just have to look, and sometimes it may not be the opportunity that you're looking for, but nonetheless, opportunity is not really the whole core of our issues in this country. You understand? And as you were saying in the program, some people do not want you to speak about the UNC, but as long as you are in government, be it in the seat of governance or the opposition seat, people are well in their right to be speaking about how they operate while they represent the constituencies that they ask for representation of, right? And we are challenged in this nation because many times, in my opinion, PNM doesn't really have their priorities in the right place all the times, and that is something that we will have to consider in the upcoming elections.
But the reality of it is, you just have your priorities straight all the time.
No,
Right.
not
So,
all the time.
Right,
And this is what I was going to say.
The issue really, and that is why, you know, I often hear people say it, and they may be right. If we have a good opposition may just hold the government to their priorities.
Exactly so. And this is what I was getting to, Pastor Google. This is exactly what I was where I was headed.
But the reality
it makes no sense. It makes no sense. We saying that Dr. Rowley and them is the worst thing here, right? And then Kamala and them is not even attractive.
But that's what I'm going to ask you now, because the reality of it is
this is where I was headed. I was saying that we left with a decision.
Wait, just now, I want to ask you something. If my marriage is in shambles, it's in a mess. I can't deal with my house properly. But I looking at a picture of your lovely family there, and you having issues. You think I could tell you anything?
No. Of course not.
If I as a leader, right? I as a leader cannot control, I shouldn't say control, but I cannot have a proper discourse or disagreement. And let me tell you something. The disagreement that the UNC party is having, that is public, right? If they can't deal with that properly now, you really feel they will be able to deal with it when they reach in government? So it's like your father telling you, boy, just marry the girl now, and after all you done married, or you go deal with all them things after. That making any sense?
Pastor Google, I think what concerns the persons within the UNC, namely the MPs who are voicing their opinions against Kamala now, is that she's staying there until
2030.
Until she dies. No, until she dies or something. So
yeah, she said that.
She giving service until she dies, and I believe that is what is concerning them mostly, more than you and I. Because even if I am supporting the PNM, right, I am not one to let them be a runaway horse. I want them to have checks and balances and have things in check. But the issue that we are having is the opposition is not keeping the government in check at no point in time, because they have the own issue unfolding down all over the place.
All right, but you know that apart from let's say the internal squabbling, the internal fight, right? You know, it's one of the biggest issues that people who on the fence watching. How could you want to tell me about corruption when you have members of who is NP on the opposition side who was before the court for corruption? How could you want to tell me?
As I mentioned that before the court thing, Pastor Google, the citizenry is becoming very wary of how certain cases end up turning out, and how the process just disconveniently go a certain way when it involves certain people.
Yeah, but that only happens in Trinidad. Outside of Trinidad and Tobago, when the government goes before, we winning hands down.
It happens all over the world, but that doesn't mean that we have to accept it.
No, but I'm saying. But when we go before, when all the clips that I have played so far, with the government going outside of Trinidad and Tobago to retrieve our money, they have won. All the cases, cases that we have won overseas, I have played all the clips, and all of them we have retrieved money. It's only in Trinidad and Tobago we have issues.
You see, in the cases that we get money, I find our government ought to be a lot more sharper and to have things tied on to those judgments. As for the person to never be involved in politics again and them kind of matters, because
that's something that is a constitutional matter. That's a constitutional issue. Quickly, because
I'm saying this is what any government in Trinidad ought to be pushing for. If it is we just having allegations of politicians every year.
They're having constitutional talks all over the island right now about changing things like that. So let me take
well, we hope it bear fruit sooner than later. I'll up to listening.
All right. Who's on the line? Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Pastor. Good afternoon, Pastor.
Hi, good afternoon.
I mean, I hear everybody talking about they have things in place and the youth don't want nobody telling them. Listen to me. The fellas and them naturally don't want anything but easy. Just if it's a job they want a job on the street to live in. They mustn't get up and have no way to go.
But why do?
You understand?
Why?
Why? Because they're indoctrinated a certain way.
Who indoctrinated them that way?
People influencing them. Let me tell you something. I was listening to them fellas on the evening some months ago before I stopped listening to them. And they had this caravan going around in all different areas with all these things. One of them was saying, they was in my area and it's a good thing to come around. He said, but the people, the fellas who need that, they may come in out there. They have to go and find them fellas and bring them. No, wait, come like you're hungry. I bring food for you. I give it to you. And you want me to push it in your mouth too?
Well, because, so let me put it this way. All right, so let's say I buy the food for you. We talking, eh? No, I'm not making any excuse, eh? Because I want you all to be sharp on how we seeing these youths and them, right? All right, so I buy the food for you, right? I bring it for you. And here the question they ask me, I have to feed you too. You know, it not necessarily feed them, you know. You know what you have to do? You have to eat the food with them and tell them, yeah, you know, this food tastes real good, you know. If you taste this food, trust me.
But that is being said, but you see the problem is these fellas listen to the wrong people. So let me say, for instance, them fellas on the evening program, rather than saying it has nothing for young black people, if instead of that they say, well, boy, it have all these set of different programs here, there, and everywhere, right? But the government still trying to do what they could do. They may go say that because they're in opposition to the government. Okay. As for instance, the UNC will never, ever say the government do something right.
Right.
They will always find a way to say that it's wrong.
Yeah.
The problem is the people who need it listening to the wrong set of people.
Right.
In fact, they only listen to one set of people. Right? They gravitate to that, and that is all they're hearing from day to day. So if that is all you're hearing, and especially you really ain't have no ambition, you're really business. But if I get something, I will take it. Unless somebody take them and carry them, they will not. I am telling you, they will not. Because it is unfair for anybody to sit down and say the government is doing nothing for you when it has so much a different thing. It is totally unfair. And it's sad to see that the same people, the same black people who are allowing themselves to be talking that foolishness. It is hurt, boys. It's hurt because I find they're not. So I just wonder. I say, but it's them have children. I wonder what they're telling their children. You could tell your child. I hear one of them say, I give my children all the best advice. They went to school. They get their subjects. The government's supposed to give their work. I don't know if that's how it is be. I actually children, all of them working. The government never give them nothing. The government put things in place and they use it to their benefit, like the gate programs, you know, things like that.
All right,
and that is what we're supposed to do. You can't just sit on. So everybody could be a public servant. If your daughter or your son have all these subjects, ask him what you want to do with his life. You want to be a lawyer, a doctor, a mason, whatever. And head him in that direction for whatever he likes. And somewhere down the line, he will bounce up on something that he could do.
All right,
you can't just tell your subject and sit down home and wait on somebody to bring something for you.
All right,
that don't happen.
Thank you.
Big man, every day you come in on the radio and talking about 2010 and 2015 politics. We're not in 2010. We're not in 2015. We're in 2024. Talk about what's going on in the country today. Not 8 and 9 years ago. People fed up at that. Gosh, boy. Opportunity this, opportunity that. How much employment it have? Eh? After you go and you get the opportunity to learn a trade or to learn some skill, how much employment it have out there? Or they're missing the big picture right through, or they just come and sit down and talk and what's that nonsense.
And strange enough, you know, that voice note, clearly, that is exactly what we're talking about. And that's why I'm trying to explain to Trinidad and Tobago. And we need to listen to that and understand that. And even though you delete the voice notes, it's on the live. So I'll play it back some other day for people to hear again from the live. I'll tape it and play it back. I want you all to listen to what he just said. Now, all the youth programs that I'm playing, the Ministry of Youth and National Service only began under Dr. Rowley's government. Right? That's one. Two, all the opportunities that the Ministry of Youth and National Service is giving is for you to have your own employment. It's not for you to go and work for nobody. It's for you to start your own employment. For you to have your own business. That's one. Two, I played for you from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. For people who want to start their own small business, you could get $250,000 to start. And you know, you still send a voice note talking about 2010. Who talking about 2010? And I have been encouraging a discussion among people to tell me how could we get through to young people. But you only hear. I don't know who you hear. Because why talking about is nothing when you're talking about. But you know what? I will pull it back for people to understand the concept and the mindset that there are people, as some of the callers are saying, despite what you do, how you do it, how you present it, you buy a box of barbecue for a man, you carry it for the man, you sit down and you're eating to show the man the barbecue good, he still want the barbecue. Well, you're good, we? Well, you're a real good boy.
Hi, good day, Mr. Gentleman, Mr. Google. Good day to you. I understand that she got booed too as well. Her party's in a mess. You know, her party's in a total mess. I also understand that she got booed, and she's not. It's like this woman is living in a different era. She's not even on board with her party members. She doesn't know nothing that goes on. She doesn't know what they like from what they don't like. She doesn't know what they're concerned with and from what they're not concerned with. She's just walking around giving cottage meeting all over the place and talking a pack of crap. You know, so I seriously think it's time this woman resign and go and take a little rest. No offense, huh? Just it's time to resign. It's time to take a rest.
Wow, thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor.
Hi.
Pastor, what is bothering you? Why this is only our, not the children, don't try to gravitate what is the government. How the other side is gravitating? What do they want? What do they want the government to do? Come in the house.
And
them.
Yeah, and give them it. Put it in the mouth to eat it. That's what
How
they
the other
want.
gravitating?
Yeah. All right.
All our the other side want to do is just sit down at the corner, smoke, cigarette. This one bag, this one. Come on, it's so much of different things these people, the government have for these young people. There's only one side who want it.
And the other side don't.
And the other side don't.
Well,
and people want to make it.
We would try to get them. We try to get them to want it. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy, good. I hear long, you know. Anyway. Yes, good afternoon, Pastor Google. Good afternoon,
Come with it quick, President. You'll get cut off. Come with it quick.
Yeah, well, the truth, it ain't so quick, but I'm going to try. The fact remains we have to look at the whole society, right? And we have those who young and so forth who still able to go and learn or something and all that. It have those all in between that going back then now to mind a family, 2, 3, 4 children and all them kind of thing, it's tough. We have to look at the whole situation to understand the employment level in our country.
All right, I'll go on.
In that respect,
the views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
Yo, this is a Big Mike, not the mass man, the health man. And joining me
will be Little Mike as we discuss tips on taking you from zero health to optimum health using different protocols and techniques. Trinidad and Tobago. Join us every Wednesday from 10:05 a.m. to 10:35 a.m. on the Street 91.9 FM for
Health Talk with Big Mike. It's not where it is, it's here it is. Boom!
Are
you just tired of bad news in your communities, TV screens, and newspapers? Well, I have good news for you. Introducing Positive Corner with Naka every Tuesday from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Highlighting young, vibrant, and future stars spreading our nation's banner across the world. Telling their story about their journey to success and overcoming the negativities that plagues our land. Come, let's sit, discuss, have a few laughs, but at the same time learn something new. Every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Positive Corner, where challenges are opportunities for growth.
Jazz and Wine, or is it Beyond Jazz and Wine? Sunday, May 5th, 4 p.m. Center stage, the queen amongst the kings, powerhouse vocalist Mauricia Kagan, saxophone specialist Malcolm Boyce, versatile and captivating Siggy Rankin, pianist extraordinaire Dane Gulston with his band live Sweetbread, and the chosen one, Ja Melody, will get you off your seats. This event is definitely Beyond Jazz and Wine. Experience this musical journey at the enchanting outdoor garden theater at Queen's Hall. Transform into an oasis fit for kings and queens. Sunday, May 5th, 4 p.m. Limited early bird tickets available at Java Nation, Queens Park East, and online at islandetickets.com or call 737-2373. Jazz and Wine. Experience the sweetness over and over again.
On June 1st, consciousness takes over. Redemption.
The 9th edition.
Queen's Park, Savannah, Port of Spain. We bring to you Super Cat.